At 95, Clint Eastwood finally breaks that silence and reveals the 7 women he never stopped thinking about. The 7 women who shaped his heart, tested his soul, and followed him like a shadow through every stage of his life. Clint Eastwood spent his entire life showing the world a strong face. People saw a tough man, a man who never bent, a man who always walked away from problems. What the world did not see was how deeply he loved, how deeply he hurt, and how strongly certain women stayed inside him long after the relationships ended. He once said that a man can forget thousands of moments, but he never forgets the women who touched his soul. At 95, he is ready to tell the truth about 7 women whose names still live quietly inside him. Some loved him, some broke him, some changed him, and some left him wondering what could have been. The first woman he speaks about is Maggie Johnson, the one who stood beside him when he was young, broke, and still unsure of who he would become. She was the woman who believed in him before the world even knew his name. Clint never forgot her patience, her calm voice, her steady support, or the way she carried his mistakes with quiet dignity. He admits that Maggie was the woman who taught him stability. She gave him a home when he had nothing, a roadmap when he was lost, and trust when he did not trust himself. Even after their marriage fell apart, he says he never stopped respecting the strength she showed for more than 3 decades. She was not just his first wife. She was the anchor that kept him grounded during the wildest years of his life. The second woman he names is Sondra Locke, a woman who entered his life with fire, intensity, and a spirit that matched his own. Their relationship was passionate, complicated, and unpredictable, but Clint says one thing clearly. He never met another woman who challenged him the way she did. She pushed him to understand himself, to confront his flaws, and to face the parts of his personality he preferred to ignore. He remembers Sondra not as a mistake, but as a turning point. She brought out both the best and the worst in him. He admits he didn't always treat her right, but he also says she awakened his creativity in a way no one else ever did. Every film they made together held pieces of their real relationship. Their fights, their moments of warmth, their connection all found their way into the characters they played and the stories they told. The third woman he cannot forget is Frances Fisher, the one who walked into his life at a time when he needed softness, comfort, and emotional warmth. Frances understood him without words. She read his silences. She knew when he was overwhelmed, when he was pretending to be strong, and when he needed someone to simply sit beside him. Clint admits that Frances showed him a different kind of love. It was not dramatic or loud. It was peaceful. It was clean. It was the kind of love you remember when life becomes too heavy. He says that Frances left a permanent mark on him because she made him feel safe in a way that surprised him. With her, he did not have to perform, impress, or pretend. He could finally rest. The fourth woman he talks about is Dina Ruiz, a woman much younger than him but emotionally powerful enough to handle his difficult personality. Dina brought youth, energy, and light into his life. She reminded him that joy does not disappear with age. She brought laughter back into his home, and he never forgot that feeling. He says they were different in many ways. They argued, they disagreed, they lived in separate emotional worlds at times, yet he appreciated her strength and kindness. She helped him become a better father in his later years. She pushed him to open his heart again, even when he felt tired and emotionally closed. Dina reminded him that a man is never too old to grow. The fifth woman he confesses he still thinks about is Jacelyn Reeves, the woman whose relationship with Clint stayed private for many years. Their connection was spontaneous and unexpected, but it left a permanent legacy, their children. Clint says that the bond with Jacelyn gave him 2 lives he is deeply grateful for, and he always respected her decision to stay out of the spotlight. He remembers Jacelyn as someone simple, grounded, and free. She didn't chase fame. She didn't ask him for anything. She offered him love without pressure, and he never forgot that. Even after they parted, he kept admiring the quiet dignity she carried through life. She never demanded attention or recognition, yet she held an important place in his story. The sixth woman he includes is Lori Murray, the daughter he didn't know he had for years and the woman whose existence shocked him, softened him, and taught him humility. Meeting her changed him. It reminded him of how many mistakes he made, but also how many second chances life can offer if a man is willing to accept them. Lori was not a romantic partner, but her presence became one of the most emotional connections of his life. She forgave him for not being there, and Clint says that forgiveness is something he never expected and never forgot. She healed a part of him that he thought would stay broken forever, And he includes her on this list because she helped him grow in ways no romantic relationship ever did. The seventh and final woman Clint Eastwood admits he never got over is a woman he never fully names. He describes her as the one who got away, the one he knew too late, the one who entered his life during a moment when he was not ready. She was not famous, not from Hollywood, not connected to his public world. She was simply someone who understood him instantly, and he says he carried her memory for decades. He remembers her kindness, her honesty, her ability to tell him no, and the way she respected herself enough to walk away when she realized he was not prepared for a real commitment. Clint smiles when he speaks of her, as if remembering a soft pain he learned to live with. She is the symbol of the life he could have had, the man he could have become, and the peace he never found. Clint says these 7 women shaped him more than any film, award, or box office record. They taught him strength, humility, forgiveness, passion, patience, wisdom, and responsibility. He admits he hurt some of them, failed some of them, disappointed some of them, yet he never forgot what they gave him. He believes a man becomes the sum of all the women he loved, and at 95, he finally feels brave enough to say their names out loud. These women were not chapters. They were foundations. They were lessons. They were mirrors. They were the parts of his life the public never saw, yet they were the parts that built the real Clint Eastwood. He ends by saying that regrets are heavy, but memories are gentle. These 7 women remain gentle inside him, shaping the man he became long after the world stopped paying attention to his personal life. For Clint, love was not one story. It was 7 stories connected by one heart that never stopped learning. When Clint Eastwood speaks about these 7 women, he does not talk like a movie star. He talks like a man looking back at his life with honesty, clarity, and a little pain. He knows he was not perfect. He knows he made mistakes. He knows he hurt people he cared about. Yet he also knows that each woman changed him in a way he cannot erase. He begins by describing how hard it is for a man to share emotional truths at his age. He spent his life being quiet, guarded, and in control. He always kept his personal feelings locked away. People around him knew him as tough, cold, or distant at times, but he says it was not who he truly was. It was only the armor he wore to survive Hollywood. When he talks about Maggie, he feels regret mixed with respect. He admits he should have treated her better, valued her more, and protected their marriage with more care. He knows she gave him stability he did not return. He says the biggest mistake young men make is thinking patience lasts forever. Maggie taught him how wrong that idea was. He explains that losing Maggie was like losing the foundation of his early life. She was the woman who believed he could become something more than a struggling actor. She supported him emotionally and financially at times.